Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Champions League Challenge on Football Manager 2022, where we are currently in charge of Steaua Bucharest. And in today's episode, we will go through the transfers that we've made since the last episode ahead of our first season in charge of Steaua in the top tier of Romanian football. And we'll also have our first game of the season, which is against also fellow newly promoted side, Politehnica Timisoara. Now, one thing that was a bit up in the air at the end of the last episode was my contract situation. So it turned out I wasn't on a rolling contract as I'd implied in the last episode. I got offered a contract at the end of May and it's another 1-year contract. So hopefully we do well this season and I can keep getting these 1-year contracts, hopefully maybe a bit of a longer term one. But we are still, as you can see, with Steaua Bucharest, thankfully, because I don't know where the save would have gone if we got sacked by them. We've had another few bits of news as well in terms of retirements. So both of our centre midfielders from last season, our starting centre midfielders from last season, have retired. Liviu Bajanaru, sort of expected, 39 years old. He retired on the 9th of June. Tried to make him reconsider for another year, but it wasn't to be. He's now unemployed as a head of youth development. And then Valentin Barbilescu retired the day before Bajanaru did. Again, he's 36 years old, so sort of expected with him actually as well. He's an unemployed director of football now. So one thing I did want to show you is the way that the top tier finished last season. So you can see Universitatea Craiova actually won the league from FCSB and CFR Cluj. Not sure if that's exactly how it finished in the championship stage of the season. We'll go into that actually. So yeah, that is how it finished. Farul Constanta must have won the cup to qualify for the Europa Conference League. But in the relegation places, there's two Bucharest sides. I was hoping for plenty of local derbies this season, but Dynamo and Rapid Bucharest have both been relegated, so we won't be playing them in the league this season. Just FCSB as, I think, just those as local rivals, unless there's another team that don't have Bucharest in the name that are actually based in the city. If you know of that, please let me know. And now it's time to look at the transfers that we made. Now, there's been quite a few transfers made, so we'll go through all of them now. The first signing that we made is someone who's quite familiar. He was on loan to us last season. Left back, Serbian national, 30 years old. It's Nick. He's been signed on a permanent deal on a free transfer from Jezinstvo Ub. And we know what he can do for us. He was pretty much our starting left back once he signed in the January transfer window last season. And he'll be our starting left back again this season. And on the other side of defence, we've brought in Razvan Onea on loan for the season from Politehnica Iași. He is going to be our starting right back this season, 3-star rated. He looks pretty decent. He's got good crossing as well for if we want to have him on a more attacking role, and decent defensive attributes. They're okay. They're not great, but they're okay. We also had to go on the hunt for a new goalkeeper because Raul Balbara was, of course, a loanee last season and he wasn't too great. He made quite a few mistakes, so we were looking for a replacement for him, and we came across Albert Popper, who we signed on a free transfer again. That's going to be a bit of a theme in this transfer window. From Dunărea Calarași, he's 23 years old, 2.5-star rated at the moment, potential of up to 4 stars. He was originally brought in as our first choice keeper, but he will actually be our backup goalkeeper this season. We'll get to who is going to be our starting goalkeeper in a little bit. Then we signed Paul Capacci on a free transfer from Viitorul Panduri Targu, and he is going to be our backup left back this season. 2.5 stars, pretty decent, great potential of 4.5 stars, just slightly better than Adrian Illy, who is our own youth prospect of a left back. We then brought in a player who played a little bit for us last season. He played 8 times for us, in fact, over the course of the last couple of seasons. Julian Bedea, the centre midfielder who was recalled from his loan spell last season because we weren't playing him enough for the manager's liking, has been brought in on a permanent deal. 2.5-star rated centre midfielder, brought in as one of our replacements for Bajanaru and Barbilescu. And he's pretty decent. He's got great passing. First touch is great as well. Technique is brilliant too. His physical attributes are pretty good. His aggression's a bit high for my liking, but hopefully that won't affect us too much. And he is going to be one of our starting centre midfielders this season, despite the fact we've got him down as being a fringe player. And now we come to the man who will be our first choice goalkeeper this season. It's Tom Aniga. He's been on my scouting list, on my short list for quite some time, probably since the first quarter of last season, I would say. He's a 3.5 star rated goalkeeper, 24 years old, potential of up to 4.5 stars. He's a lot better than Adrian Popper is, and you can see why he's going to be my starting keeper this season. We then went across to the other Steaua Bucharest again and brought in Dimsiu Halep, who is a 22-year-old striker. He's only rated at 2 stars currently, but he's got the potential of up to 3.5 stars. He's got 12 finishing, which is great, and heading of 12 as well as dribbling of 11, which is pretty good. He's going to be one of our backup strikers this season. We then signed Jovan Mitrovic on a free transfer from LFK Mladost, 19-year-old. He's going to be our backup left midfielder this season, 2-star rated, but a potential of possibly up to 5 stars. So definitely one to watch for the future. Crossing of 12, first touch of 11, and passing of 13 are standout technical attributes for him. He's got great work rate as well as some natural fitness and a few other desirable physical attributes. And because he's 19 years old, he's still got plenty of room for growth as well. Hopefully we can get him some game time this season. His squad role is as a fringe player, so we don't have too much in terms of expectation from him as to how much he plays, but would be nice to see him get a couple of games. And then the final signing was sort of against our transfer vision that the board have given to us of signing under 23 players, but you'll have seen that most of the players that we've signed are under 23, so they should be pleased with that. We've signed in an experienced centre midfielder, French national Nicolas Burel. He can play comfortably in central defence as well. Brought in as a bit of experience in the centre midfield because we're lacking it now with Bobulescu and Bajanaro leaving. He is on a bit more money than pretty much anyone else in the squad. He's on £950 per week. We did have an increased wage budget. We've pretty much used all of that now, but you can see from his attributes that I couldn't really say no to him. Now for the outgoings, and we'll start with one that I didn't really want to happen. Dean Bater. I'd literally, a couple of days before Academica Clinceni came in for him, I'd appointed him as our vice captain for the season, with Wallace being our new captain. The two central defenders had made an excellent partnership last season, and I was more than ready for them to do the same this season. But then Academica Clinceni came in with an offer for him. Initial offer was about £5,000 up front, with £1,500 after 20 league games, which I thought was ridiculous. So I spoke to Dean Bater, and he basically said that he wanted to leave. I tried to get him to at least stay until I could find a replacement for him, but he was adamant that he wanted to leave. So I then tried to negotiate a deal. Initially tried to get 40 grand up front. They weren't having that. Knocked it down a few times. Eventually we settled on £20,000 up front, £10,000 after 20 league games, which I think is pretty good value for money for a 31-year-old. I believe it's our record sale as a club. I did get a little achievement pop up on Steam as the deal went through. Disappointing. We've not replaced him yet. We are looking to do that. I'll show you who we're looking to do that with as well, actually. Now, he's not as good as Dean Bater, but he's the best that I can get. If he comes in, he's coming actually from the club that Dean Bater has gone to. So I could have possibly tried to, if I'd known about this guy beforehand, I could have possibly tried to do a player exchange deal, maybe. But he's 2.5 star rated. At least that's what my scout thinks. 19-year-old centre-back. He's probably going to be a backup. We are having to play either our new signing of Burel or Nick in centre-back for the start of the season at least. But we'll see how this guy does if he even comes in. He might not even be wanting to sign for us. And then we sold Horia Yanku, who was our backup goalkeeper last season. He's not very good. We managed to get £1,000 for him, which is pretty decent. I think he's gone to Javo Ivanjica. I don't know who they are or where they play. I don't really care, to be honest. The reason for him leaving is not just because he's not very good, but also because we only have a squad size of 25, and there's other rules. There's I think it has to be 4. I'll just show you the rules, in fact. Squad size of 25, max of 4 non-EU players, minimum of 8 players trained in Romania for 3 years. We've more than achieved that. Minimum of 4 players trained by us for 3 years before the 21st birthday is the one that we struggled with. We've only got one person signed into that. And yeah, we've registered 21 players. I think this means we can register another player though, surely. We can. So we can register Vasil Bucharest. I've had to put him on the transfer list because I didn't realise we had an extra space to register. So I'll have to remove him from the transfer list now. Not sure how he's going to feel about that, but it's better for him that he's staying, I guess. And nobody was interested in him either. And then the other outgoing is Raresh Anciano, another guy that wasn't going to be able to be registered this season. He's gone out on loan to FC Buzor. They're paying us a little bit of a fee. I think it was £100 a week, something along those lines. £50 per week for the duration of the loan. So we still have a couple of players who are not going to be able to be registered and we are trying to get rid of actively. Florin Razdan is one of them. You can see he's wanted by a couple of clubs, and there was rumours that they were willing to pay £12,000. Offered him out for that. They didn't want to. Offered him out now for £8,000. See what happens. He's been unhappy for quite a while now at the club, to be honest. I did trigger his contract extension, which is, by the way, how I re-signed most of the squad. They had contract extensions built into the contract, which I could just trigger, which was very easy for me. But yeah, Razdan's not been happy for a while, so he's wanting to get out the door. Hopefully we can move him on and get some money from him as well, because finances, they're not looking great. We have a transfer budget because of the sales that we've made. We got £2,000 put in the transfer budget from the Dean Beta sale. I hoped that would make the wage budget bigger, but if I drag the slider all the way along, it increases it by about £40. So there's no point in doing that. And yeah, we need to find a way of making money. One thing that's not helping us make money, though, is the fact that the board have set the average ticket price, or set the ticket price, as far as this says, to £1. Pretty sure last season it was £0, so everyone was just coming to the game for free. So not really sure what's going on there. £75 season ticket price, and that doesn't really touch the sides, to be honest, especially with the amount of debt that we're in, and I think we're currently paying back a loan as well of some sort. Yeah, it's only 10 grand that we're paying per month, but it's until 2032. Madness. And then the other player that we've been actively trying to move on is Cesar Georgikianu, who it actually turns out I don't think I have to actively move on anymore because he's under 22, so I think that means he can automatically be registered for the season, but I need to just check that when we head into the first game of the season. So we're just going to play the one game in today's episode against Politehnica Timisoara, and then after that game we'll see where we're at and where we want to come back for. I've got my eye on the FCSB game, as that is going to be a big one. This season is starting earlier, of course. It's only the 8th of July. Last season started around the 30th of July. I think that is because, I know that is because of the Qatar World Cup. We've got a bit of a break from November through to the start of January. And as far as the rules for this league go, so we play each team twice, there's 30 games, and then we split off into the Champions Playoff and the relegation groups. Champions Playoff, this is how the European places are decided. Not getting ahead of myself at all, don't think we're going to finish in the top 6 whatsoever, but if we were to do so, first place gets a Champions League place in the first qualifying round, the other places get Europa Conference League qualifying round places, second qualifying round places, but there is a nice prize pot up for grabs, which still wouldn't take us out of our current financial situation. And then you have the relegation group, which actually it isn't 2 groups, it's just 1 group. Everyone plays each other once, same as the championship playoff. The bottom 2 teams get relegated. The 3rd and 4th bottom side go into the playoff with the sides from the league below, and then the 1st and 2nd place actually get a chance to qualify for Europe through the European Places playoffs, which is a nice little bonus. So if we could finish 7th or 8th and have a chance of Europe, but in all reality, we are going to be in for a struggle this season. Our expectation is to fight bravely against relegation in the league, be competitive in the cup. I don't think anyone's expecting us to stay up. We're actually favourites to be relegated, 1,000 to 1 for us to win the league. All 3 of the newly promoted sides are the favourites to go straight back down. So we'll have to try and beat that. Hopefully we don't go down. We need to sort of stabilise a bit, get our finances right, and then try and push on for the European places. Here we go. It's time for our first match in the top tier of Romania against Politehnica Timisoara. Possibly relegation 6-pointer on the first day of the season. We'll just have to wait and see. So we're going to have to play a slightly weakened squad to what I wanted to play because I've made a huge error and not changed the automatic selected team for a friendly match that we just played a few days before this match. So the team that we're putting out today is as follows. We've got Tom Aniga in goal, the new number one goalkeeper. George Chalantaru is at right back today. Razvan Anea, of course, our new right back, was meant to be playing there. Nick is at centre back with Wallace after Dean Beta left us. And Paul Capacci, another one of our new signings, is at left back. Claudio Danos is on the right side of midfield with Jovan Mitrovic on the left-hand side of the midfield, and Stefan Passinal and Robert Niaxiu, our backup centre midfielders today, are starting for us with Dragos Huiban and Dimsiu Halep up front. Now, this could go horrifically wrong, but I'm hoping that because we're against one of the teams that have also got promotion last season, that we aren't going to struggle. And it was brought to my attention that I stupidly agreed to play a defensive, counter-attacking style of football this season in the club vision. It'll be counter-attacking, but it's not going to be defensive. As long as we get the results, shouldn't really matter, hopefully. Boxan plays the Costa, now Radu, to Hatigan, Massaro, through to Radiu. Radiu, it's a great defensive tackle from the left-back Capacci there, saving us as the attacker was pretty much through on goal. Throw in deep in our own half, Capacci to take it on his left-hand side, finds Wallace, long ball forward from him, not really going towards a Steaua player, as Costea has it in the centre of the field to Politehnica, now Boxan with it at the back. Out wide right to Radiu, now Sofran to Bernay, Costea to Mazzaro, back to Bernay, and Costea is going to get it again, plays it to Massaro once more. Radiu is through on goal this time, and it's a great save from Tom Aniga, but Andre is going to keep the ball alive. Ball into the box from him, but Aniga comes out and collects that nicely. And we've picked up an injury. George Chalantaru has an injury. He's not going to be able to play anymore. Potential foot injury. We're going to have to bring on Razvan Anea, who's a bit tired out there. Well, he's not tired out there. He's not out there yet. He's tired on the bench because of that friendly match. But he is going to have to come into the squad because of that injury to George Chalantaru. Hopefully it's not too bad because we're lacking in that area of the field. Okay, so half time, and we're somehow still level at 0-0. I'm not quite sure how, but I'm gonna make a couple of changes. We're gonna bring on Vasil Buharescu. He's looking motivated on the bench. Dimsiu Halep not having a great time out there on debut, so Buharescu comes on for him. And then Jovan Mitrovic is also not doing too well out there, so we're gonna bring Passinal on for him, and then we're gonna push Passinal up to being a left winger. Goal kick. Niga takes it. Long ball up the field, and that's going to be collected by the Politehnica defenders, and they can come on the attack now with Andre down the left-hand side. Back to the left-back Pomfield. Forward to Andre again. Our right-back's doing a good job in marking Andre at the minute, as Judea has the ball at the back. Long ball forward, and Nick collects that easily for us. Now it's Anea. Central to Niaxiu. Out wide now to Claudio Danos, the youngster. Can he dribble past his man? He decides against it. Plays it to Huiban instead, who plays a lovely through ball for Buharescu. Buharescu's there, and he scored. It's going to be pulled back, is it? Okay, we've got VAR in this league, so it's awarded. We were just checking to make sure that it wasn't offside. It was Danos who pulled back, played a ball to Huiban, who did a beautifully timed through ball to Buharescu in the end, and he just volleyed it over the keeper's head. This is the one where we will see the offside line, and he's just onside there. Number 4 playing him onside. Excellent finish from Buharescu, and we're 1-0 up on our first game with a weakened side. Free kick for Politehnica. Hatigan takes it. Niga does a beautiful save there. Just tips it over the bar, but the pressure is still coming with Andre's corner. Nick heads that away nicely, and then Passinel's got it, and we could get on the counter-attack here if we're clever about it. Passinel still running with it down the left-hand side, and he's fouled by Bernay. Throw in deep in their half. Anea takes it to Danos. Pulled back to Passinel. Back out wide to Anea. Can he beat his man and get a ball in? He tries to get a ball in, but it's intercepted easily by Costea. Fortunately, that's fell to Nick in defence, and he nods it forward to Niaxiu. Anea's got it on the right-hand side once more. Plays it back to Passinel. Now Niaxiu again. Inside to Huiban. Nice passing. Buharescu through to Claudio Donos. Can he get a second? It's off the post and it's cleared by Bokshan. Of course, we made all 3 of our substitutions now. We only get 3 substitutions in this league this season. So we just hope that no one else gets injured or Donos gets sent off because he's the man that's currently on a yellow card. But there could be another opportunity for a goal here. It's Huiban. Finds Passionel. Lovely ball out wide to his namesake. And he has a shot and that's just over the bar from him. And there's the full-time whistle. Our first game in the top tier of Romania has ended with victory, a 1-0 victory over Politehnica Timisoara. And I can't really complain about that. So we're the only one of the 3 promoted sides to get a victory on the opening day of the season. Of course, Politehnica Timisoara couldn't have got a victory because we've beaten them. But Concordia Chiajna, the other side, got beaten 2-0 by last season's Romanian Cup winners, Farul Constanta. So that leaves us 5th in the table. It's early days, so we're not going to even look at what that would mean for us if we did finish there. And as the game's finished, Moldovan has accepted, or at least Academica Clincini have accepted the loan offer from us for Andrei Moldovan. So we'll see in the next episode if he does in fact sign for us for the season, the centre-back. George Kalansaru's injury is not too bad. He's out for 3 weeks with pulled ankle ligaments. So we're going to have to get by with just Razvan Anea for the time being. And hopefully nothing happens to him. Otherwise we might have to play a youth player or somebody completely out of position. So we're looking ahead to the next episode. And we're going to come back for the games against last season's champions Universitatea Craiova and FCSB, the big one. So we've got a few games to play off camera against Chindia Targovist, Voluntari, CFR Cluj, who are another one of the well-known Romanian sides, Academica Clinceni and FC Arges, and then we'll be back for those 2 games. But that is it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to get all my content when it comes out, hit the notification bell to stay notified, and I'll see you next time.